AFID has published in 2009 a report on impact of climate change on Arab countries. This was the first report which is comprehensive on the subject and independent report. Now, AFID reports were taken as credible ones because we have with us Mustafa Kamal Tolba, Muhammad Al-Ashri, Muhammad Kassar, some of the leaders in the environmental science and environmental movement in the world. Now, I'll just give you simple facts. As my colleague said, she is right. The AFID report, which you can download from the site, it is a big report. It shows that Arab countries are very vulnerable to climate change, mainly in the area of sea level rise and fresh water. Sea level rise, Arab countries have 32,000 kilometers of shoreline, and a study was prepared for us with satellite images by the Remote Sensing Center at Boston University, which calculated this, and we tried to simulate if sea levels rise, what the impact will be. This one here, I shall use this. You should make use of the previous experiences. So, what you see here, if the sea level rises 1 meter, you will see the yellow areas. Now you will see the difference. If the sea level rises only 1 meter, it will impact 41,500 square kilometers and 37 million people in the region. And this is what you see in yellow. Okay. Now, if it increases 2 meters, it will be 60,000 square kilometers. 4 meters, 800,000 square kilometers. I mean, don't get alarmed because it's unlikely to rise as much. But, so just I'll go from the first sequence to see how it changes, the yellow. So, and then it goes like this. I have one alarming slide which I didn't show, which is the impact of sea level rise on the artificial islands. And then in our report we say that in the world you have the alliance of small island states. So we told those who were building artificial islands, are you building them to join this alliance? Now, other than sea level rise, I go to water. The impact on fresh water is very high, and we don't have to wait for climate change. We already are in big trouble in the Arab region. If we take the Arab region as a whole, the per capita share of fresh water per year is already less than 800 cubic meters. But don't forget, it varies from 8 cubic meters per year in Kuwait to about 5,000 in Mauritania. So what you call Arab region is very big. If you take the Gulf countries, you are talking about averages which are 8 cubic meters in Kuwait, 130, 80, 85, so it is nothing really. So it is not, it's big alarm. And still, some of those countries have the highest consumption of fresh water per capita for domestic use. Let's say Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, they have over 500 liters of water per day for domestic use. In Canada, they consider it very high. It is 350. In UK, it is 120. 150. Okay. Now, here you see one of the consequences in the Nile Delta in Egypt, and those were prepared by Boston Remote Sensing Center, Boston University. The major impact will be in Egypt, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, Morocco, Algeria, Saudi Arabia, and Somalia, and Lebanon as percentage of population. And for those of you who say even 1 meter is unlikely, I say what we found is that when you have even half meter, lot of the shoreland you won't be able to use it again, because most of the industries and of the electricity generation plants are on the shore, in some cases not higher than 1 meter or above sea level. Now, in terms of land mass, sea level rise will mostly impact Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, and Tunisia. 1 to 3% of their land will be affected with 1 meter rise. Egypt's economy is the most vulnerable. 1 meter rise will cause a drop between 6% and 12% of the agricultural land. With a 5 meter scenario, Egypt will be a big disaster because 12 million people will have to be displaced. Now, for the climate change, I'll stop here for one simple reason. It is online, with all the maps, with all the satellite images, with all the figures. And you will see it at the end, www.afidonline.org, and you have summary of it, which I think will be enough for all of you at the entrance. Now I'll continue to the most recent report, which we produced on Friday. And this report is on ecological footprint of Arab countries. You see the name survival options. Why? Because the results were so alarming that we thought if they don't do something, the survival itself is at risk. Now, with that report, we have an atlas of footprint and biocapacity of Arab countries. It covers every country of the 22 members of the Arab League, and it takes them as groups, like the Gulf, subgroups like the Maghreb, Levant, and Horn of Africa. What we found that in the past 50 years, the GDP at constant 2000 levels increased 4 times. But biocapacity decreased by half, and water available per capita decreased by to 1/4 of what it was. Now, if we judge by GDP, Arabs have done very well, but they have lost their natural capital. The Arab region is in a state of ecosystems deficit since 1979, as you see it, and it continues to, the gap continues to widen since 1979. Now, in the atlas, and it is available online, you have even for every country, as you see, a spread. For every country there is a spread, and then for every sub-region a spread, and then for the whole region, with all the figures on the main factors. Now, to put it in perspective, in 1961, the first year where global figures were available for the region, in 1961, most of the region had ecological surplus. Only you had problem in Syria, Lebanon, it was a small problem. In 2008, the only places with surplus are Mauritania and Sudan. And it is one of the biggest drops in the world. Ecological footprint increased everywhere, but the deficit did not widen to that extent. As you heard, if the whole world lived like an average Arab, we need 1.2 planets. Like an average Qatari, we need 6.6 planets like an average Moroccan, 3/4 of the planet. And instead of Moroccan, originally we had Yemeni. But then Muhammad al-Ashri said Yemen is not is a bad example because we need half a planet. But our conclusion is that many Arab countries need better access to resources because they have less footprint than even needed to have the minimum of decent life, which means other countries in the region first have to have less footprint so that others have better access, and at the global level some regions of the world have to decrease their footprint to give better access to the others. Now if you look at the world averages, you see it here. Now, well, this is the global ecological footprint, and you have Qatar, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain, Oman and Saudi Arabia and Libya are above the average, while all other countries are even within or lower than the global average. But some of them, as I said, like Yemen, are very low to meet their basic needs. Now, you see it here that in terms of biocapacity, it fell all through for every element except cropland. Cropland was the only element which nearly stayed stable. And one of the reasons is that a lot of land, let's say in Egypt, they could increase arable land. You see the ecological footprint, the biggest component which increased was the carbon component. Now, they asked us, many people, negotiators in this conference, what to do for a soft landing. We realized that in 2050, we shall have a situation with much lower carbon. What to do? We tell them, transform the income from finite oil resources into strong science and technology base. Now there are good examples in the region. We hope that they will involve more nationals, more local people. UAE has its ecological footprint initiative, very good one. King Abdullah University for Science and Technology, Masdar Institute, Qatar Foundation, and the last one there, you see, what is this? It is Morocco. They pledged and they started moving to 40% renewables by 2020. So you have stars of very good things, and if we take it serious, I think Arab countries can move out to take a good survival option. It's available. So our report is called Survival Options, to say that you have, if you take the good choice, you have the option to survive. You need three things: regional cooperation, because Arabs always talked about one Arab nation with a great message. We said forget about it. Work for simple things, cooperate to produce food, water, and to breathe. Number two, to be more efficient in using your resources. Thank you.